Being a new player in Final Fantasy XIV is overwhelming. The game has quite literally thousands of hours of content, and it can feel like you're too late to the party. Luckily, you aren't too late, and I'm here to help you learn a few things so you can hit the ground running. There are hundreds of videos giving tips out to new players on YouTube, so I'm going to try and give you some tips that you haven't heard of, or maybe you have heard of them, in which case, you got scammed. Thanks for the view. Have you ever heard two Final Fantasy players talking to each other and it sounded like you just woke up on a different planet? You're lost. You have no idea what they're saying. Smile and nod. Yep, smile and nod. Well, now you don't have to pretend to know what they're talking about. With this website, you can look at all the lingo, the acronyms that the players commonly use. With this info, hopefully you can start to speak to some of the locals on Final Fantasy XIV. Just be careful around the cat girls. They bite. Tip number 2, now that you're well equipped to talk to the locals, you should look for an FC, or a free company. This is basically a guild or a clan in Final Fantasy XIV. Other than meeting new players, FCs have access to exclusive buffs, including a flat XP percentage buff. Even if you don't feel like talking or making friends right now, it's worth your time to at least find an active FC. You can find one using the community finder or r/FFXIV recruitment. Or if you're brave enough, just join one of the random ones being spammed in Limsa. I don't know, man. Tip number 3. Now, I know you've been told by everyone, just play the MSQ. Inevitably, you're going to want to do something else at some point to break up what could be a bit monotonous. There's a bunch you can do, from dailies to side quests, deep dungeons, and gold saucer. The thing is, during almost all of that, you'll be getting XP. You know, XP that you might be wasting. You see, if you're doing just MSQ missions alone, you should be getting your main job more than enough levels to keep progressing through the story. So in the sake of efficiency, I recommend picking up another job that you're interested in, specifically to do some side things on. For example, let's say you started on Marauder because Warrior's rad and you saw a bald guy on Twitch play it, but you also want to dabble in Dragoon because the armor and abilities look neat. After level 15, you can start leveling Lancer/Dragoon, doing side stuff while playing Warrior in the story. By the end of your MSQ adventure, you'll likely have both jobs at max level. It's pretty common sense that you'd read what your abilities and cooldowns do, right? There are a few abilities that are common for players to misinterpret or misunderstand. If you're a tank or melee, take a second to read at arm's length. Yeah, it stops you from getting knocked back, but also look, it applies a slow on enemies that hit you. This is actually one of the best cooldowns on dungeon packs, since every enemy will hit you and every enemy will get slowed. Sounds like common sense, but tanks forget or don't realize they need to be using it all the time. For melee and magic DPS users, don't forget you have Feint and Addle, which now work on both physical and magical damage. So make sure you're at least throwing them out on raid wides or tank busters or literally anything. You're poor healers, man. Melees also have Bloodbath, which is really good at keeping you alive, and you should be using it. I think you guys get my point. Read your tooltips, people. Okay, so this one's easier to just show you rather than tell you. So if you're ever targeting a guy or you're waiting for a boss to come back and you you really want to target him really fast, but you have to wait for the boss to come in and then let you target him. Well, with this setting, as soon as you get in range of a target, it will automatically target him and hit him. As you can see right now, it says invalid target. No matter what I do, I'm not targeting him. I'm slamming my attack button. Nothing's happening. Well, what you're going to do, you're going to come over here to character config, go to target, and then you want to check the auto target according to priority and full auto target. You can choose between closest range or line of sight. I play melee, so I do closest range. I could see maybe a fizz range or something in line of sight, but honestly, I'll just stick with closest range because it's what I'm comfortable with. And now, as you can see, I could be all the way over here and it's automatically targeting the dummy. And then I'm not targeting anything, but I want to hit the guy. I can just press my button to target him rather than, before they added this, you had to always manually target and then hit. Now you can just press the button. If your attack's able to go off, you're in range or whatever, you can hit the dude. Tip number 6, if you've been thinking about switching your character race, I encourage you, finish A Realm Reborn first. When you finish the final quest of A Realm Reborn around level 50, you'll be given one Fantasia for free. This can save you a few bucks if you've already made your mind up about switching, or realized you're getting scammed because Viera and Hrothgar won't let you wear hats. Tip number 7, the final tip, the biggest, the best one. Now this last tip's a little bit more on the mental side of the game, and it's more geared towards the combat and the actually doing content side. And that is, do not be afraid to make mistakes. I see a lot of new players afraid to play the game, dip their toes in slightly harder content than they're used to, even if they really want to do it. And I'm telling you, 99.99999 infinite nines% of players don't really care if you make a mistake, die, cause a party wipe. These things happen, man. It's okay. If you do run into one of those rare players that gets really pressed over your mistakes, you can send them to me. I'll take the blame, man. I'd rather, and probably most players would rather, you get out there, have some fun, and don't get worried about the video game, all right? You got this. Okay, gamer? Best of luck to you. Now, leave a like on the video, conquer your fears. If you don't believe me, that's okay. I can prove to you just how much fun this game is, especially when you get out there, make some friends, make some mistakes, and get to raiding. Check out one of these videos. See just how much fun it can be. Have a good one.